Welcome into the Chasing Trails podcast, brought to you by St. John Trail Running and powered by Resilience Through Fitness. Join two middle-aged dads as they sit down and talk trail running, life, and everything in between. Now, here are your hosts, Geoff LeBlanc and Brandon Thompson. All right, welcome in everyone to another episode of the Chasing Trails podcast. If you're still listening after last week's episode, wow, you must really care. Because we were grasping at straws, but we're back this week.
Just to grasp at more straws.
To grasp at more straws. And if you can believe it or not, we were supposed to have a guest that I had in my mind, I had mentally planned for this whole time. And only to come to find out when we went back through conversations that it was supposed to be on August the 5th. And so we just totally skipped over it. Didn't even recognize that happened. Thankfully, they also forgot. And right. So it wasn't like...
or they were lying to us to make us feel better.
Yeah, or they were gracious enough to make us feel like we weren't complete idiots. But anyway, so you're stuck with another episode of Geoff and I talking. But we'll get back on the train here in a minute and get some good guests again, but just hasn't come together the way we wanted it to over the month of August, which is the story of my life at this moment. And so we'll get into that today. But Geoff, how are you making out?
I'm good. The renovations around the house are finally done. So we feel like we have our house back to ourselves. So
nice.
That's nice. I mean, they're done. The cleanup's still, you have this vision in your brain, or I did, and I'm sure people out there can think like you're an idiot if you thought that that's how things were going to work. But like I had this vision in my brain that when the septic work was done, when they were done digging up my backyard and they were done putting in the new field and putting in the new tank, that my backyard was just going to be this like new, beautiful, like pristine area. Apparently dump trucks and stuff don't leave that kind of pristine area. I mean, I'm sure they did what they could. It's pretty good, but it's like a ball field. It's just dust, dry dirt right now. And they did a lot of work because they moved the field to like a completely different location. So there's a lot of dry dirt. And after the siding project, there's little pieces of siding all over the place that still need to be picked up, and a trailer full of garbage this siding guy's supposed to come back to get on Monday. Here we are. He's not back yet, but anyway, it's his trailer, so I'm sure he'll be back to get it eventually.
I'm sure it'll show up sometime. That's right.
Sure he'll come back to get it. But the bathrooms are beautiful. They're the only job that was like completely done and finished. And like obviously, when you pay someone to renovate two bathrooms, like they finish it to the end. And so anyway, it was. So we're finally back in our house with a little bit of organization, just in time to go away for a couple of days down to Pugwash this weekend. So, yeah.
Well, that's right. The family getay down to the cottage.
Down to the annual Pugwash
retreat.
trip. Yeah, the annual Pugwash trip down to the beach where my mom grew up. And they rent an Airbnb down there now because the old family cottage is gone. But they rent a spot. And we're going to go pile all of us and our kids and my parents and probably at least two of their dogs into a 2-bedroom cottage for 2 days.
Oh my goodness.
I'm really not looking forward to it, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. There'll be some air mattresses. I mean, there's technically enough beds theoretically, because that's how people do Airbnbs, right? Like, I think we're only one bed short, which we'll just bring an air mattress for. Like, that's not a big deal. Yeah. But so it's a house. It's not a cottage, I should say, but it's, nonetheless, like, there's 4 beds in one room, so my kids will all be in one room. Like, we'll see how that goes. They're used to share with one person, with 4.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's right. It's memory making. It's not vacation. It's memory making.
That's right.
That's the way I put it.
Like I said when we were in PEI, you're not really on vacation when you go on vacation with your kids. You're just cooking and cleaning in a different location.
Oh yeah, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's one of those days, Geoff. I wanted to start off with a confession. I just want to start off, just get the slate clean and just come out and just be vulnerable a little bit. I do not want to run. I'm just in a spot now where I do not want to run. I do not find it enjoyable. I'm not. There's nothing about it that I actually like right now about running. and I don't know how to get out of that funk. And this is where, cut the episode short, this is where you would say, oh, well, you just need to suck it up and do it anyway. Like that's the insert David Goggins, like, you got to carry the boat, son, like all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna say we're gonna spend a little bit of time today just unpacking motivation. Like, what do we do when we don't feel like running? And maybe with the hopes that it'll inspire me to somehow be able to get moving a little bit. Have you ever felt that way, Geoff? Am I by myself on this one?
No, I think we did a sort of episode on it last year when I was in a bit of a funk. But let me tell you how not to restart.
Okay, let's hear. This sounds good.
Because I haven't been running as much as I should either. Ever since we blame it on them closing the woods, but I ran a couple weeks ago and I overdid it, hurt my ankle, and I had to didn't hurt it, like I just sore from the Achilles stuff. So I had to basically sideline it for 2 or 3 days, and then I was angry with myself. But anyway, I got going back this week. I went to did treadmill run, and then yesterday for some reason I decided my daughter wanted to go for a bike ride. I was like, great, we'll go for a bike ride. I'll run with you around the block. We'll do the 5K. And for some reason in my head, I had myself convinced that I was going to run like a 28, 27-minute 5K like I used to, 5 years ago, and which was like my all-time best time in a 5K. And so I went out there and I just, took off like as fast as I could, and it didn't last very long. So I did not run a 28-minute 5K. And like it was like one of the worst runs ever for no reason. It was a great run after I got home and thought about it for a minute. It was like, it was actually great. I spent some time with Harriet. I went for a run. Life was good. So I wasn't too hard on myself. But there was a moment of time there where I was like, man, you suck. You're so slow. Like, why bother running? You just took you 32 minutes to run a 5K. Like, that's lame. You're lame. So like the last 500 meters, they're like half K. That's basically the thoughts that were going through my head, and then I was like, man, I can't be thinking like this. I gotta go to Loading Loops and do this 10 or 15 times, like,
right?
It's like, it's not gonna 3K there, but nonetheless. Yeah. Anyway, so it's don't set unrealistic expectations. When you go running this weekend.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's like I was texting you. It was like I feel really stressed about the lack of running I've done over the last couple of weeks, but not stressed enough to actually go and do it.
Like 2 weeks ago, when we joked about the taper starting early for Bootstrap, we weren't supposed to do it.
It's really like coming into. I took it seriously.
That was a joke, Brandon. That was a joke.
Yeah, I know. But it's been one of those things where, I'll come up with any kind of excuse not to run, whether it's like, oh, it's too humid. It could be too hot. I've got a head cold this week. So I've been like, oh my goodness, I haven't been sleeping well. And so that's been kind of an excuse. I'm too tired. I don't want to get hurt. That kind of stuff.
That's a good way. That's a good way not to get hurt. Don't run.
Right. Don't run. Like, absolutely don't do any running. Exactly.
You'll be perfectly healthy.
Off. Yeah, that's right.
You'll be perfectly healthy for Bootstrap, buddy. You'll be all set.
Oh my goodness. And so it just got me thinking about like some of the crazy excuses that you come up with when you're trying not to do something you really don't want to do, so, it doesn't take much. It'll be like, oh, the kids want to go swimming. Oh, okay. I can't go running today. I got to take them to the pool. Daddy role comes first. I got to be able to be a good father. So there's all sorts of stuff, man, that can get in the way of excuses, excuses that you generate.
Man, excuses are wild. Like it's as easy as being like, oh, I was 10 minutes late to take my morning poop, and so I can't run now.
Yes,
It's so easy to make an excuse not to go running in the morning, right? It's exactly. Like, it's 7:10, not 7 o'clock, and I gotta be at work at 8:30. I don't have to leave till 8:15 because I'm only 10 minutes from work. So, but I can't get a half hour run in at 7:10 in the morning when I have to be to work at 7:30. Like, that's just not even possible, right?
Yeah.
So trust me, man, I've made all the excuses. I get where you're at. What's your favorite excuse? other than kids?
Yeah. Okay. So kids would definitely be my go-to excuse, but my favorite one is usually, um, I think it's probably the weather. Like I'll
Mm.
be like, okay, well, it has been it's been really hot here, so
Been
that's
hot,
been
man.
one of
Yeah.
them. Or if it gets, if it's going to thunder, maybe there's a chance of thunder and lightning. I can't be out on the trails in thunder and lightning. It doesn't like any weather. Like, oh, it's too
Right?
cloudy. Oh, it's not cloudy enough. Those kinds of things. That's usually my go-to is like, oh, it's the weather. I can't,
The
I
weather.
can't do
Yeah.
it.
Speaking of weather, did you notice how it switched to fall like really fast?
It was
So
like, hold my beer. I'm going to change right into fall.
it's like now instead of it being too hot in the morning, I got up the other morning and I went to take the garbage out and I was like, whoa, it's cold. It was like
Yeah.
3 degrees or 4 degrees or something like that. So I took the garbage out and I went and looked at the temperature and I was like, 4 degrees? I'm not running in 4 degrees. That's too
That's
cold.
right.
I just enjoyed my coffee. This was Tuesday when I ran that 5K. And then I came home and it was like 4:30 or 4:45 in the afternoon. And I said to Heidi, well, are you going to go for a run? Like you didn't go this morning, like you were supposed to. I was like, oh, it's too hot. She's like, you're ridiculous. It was too cold this morning. It's too hot tonight. She was like, get your butt out the door. So she literally was like, so anyway, I was cranky after work on Tuesday because I had some meetings I had to do that were fun. And so she was like, I know you just need to go for a run. Anyway, but it was hot, like 20. It's funny how when you're
Yeah.
not when you haven't been running in the heat and you choose to run like on your treadmill or whatever because it was hot for a couple of weeks, then you go out and it's 24 degrees, and it feels like the Sahara Desert on the pavement. You're just like, this is ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of it too is the road, like running on the road right now. I'm
Mhm.
just like, oh, I hate it so much, and it's bad for your joints. All the
Yeah.
excuses,
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
I need to,
I've got Achilles problem. I'm not supposed to be running on hard surfaces, so
that's right.
I can't run right now. Yeah.
Oh man. So anyway, so what we want to do today is we just want to dig into the motivation side of things. I know some of you guys who are like ultra disciplined think like you guys are ridiculous and this is dumb. You should just suck it up and be really tough. But I mean, for a lot of us, we don't operate that way. That's why we buy all the Goggins books and all that sort of stuff because we want to be that way. So, but it's like, what can we do to kind of help ourselves get motivated? Because a lot of times we just think it's willpower. If I just have enough willpower, that will be enough to get me through. Well, that only gets you so far. Sometimes you need to have like habits in place, or you need to have some checks and balances to kind of keep you motivated and keep you going. So that's what we want to talk about a little bit. So when we talk about motivation, there's a couple things that motivate you. Like there are different things that motivate you. Some of them are like things that come from inside of you, and some of them that come from outside of you. So for me, when I was just getting into running, do you know what a big motivator for me was? Medals. I loved getting medals. And so that was always a big motivator for me. And even at the Romp and Rockwood 50K, that 50K medal with the rocks inside of it that Amber did, that was so cool looking. I was like, man, I want to get that so bad. So I had like this kind of extrinsic kind of thing that I really kind of motivates me. Do you have anything like that, Geoff? Do you have anything like that's a big motivator for you?
Yeah, I do, but I find it funny that just as you were saying that, I couldn't help but think that most trail runs don't do medals. So
I know.
How did you fall in love with trail running? It was that being your extrinsic motivation.
Exactly. So here's the deal. Like I'm always like super bummed when there isn't a medal, and I'm just like, frig. I was like, oh well, but there are some that give out like wood, like the wood medallions and stuff like that,
and they have better swag usually. So I guess maybe you replace.
So I guess the swag can work for that too. You're right, that does replace it quite a bit. Yeah. So anyway, that's me. I always run for the swag.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat. Like when I first started running, I was actually running on my treadmill, and we had bought in like a hanger for all of our medals, and they like hang above my treadmill. All the ones that I have, and Heidi has a set on the other side. I was thinking the other day, I was like, man, like I kind of miss the fact that there's, it all stopped at 2022. I haven't done a road race since 2022 when I did my Ironman, and there's no more medals, So yeah, that's definitely a motivator for sure. I like having a goal to work towards, right? So I feel like when I don't, or when I feel like I can't accomplish a goal that I set, then my motivation goes away really quickly. So I think for me, like having those long term kind of crazy goals helps me want to do it, even if it's not like super motivating, but just like, oh well, I committed, I paid for it, I told people I'm going. So that accountability piece is pretty big for me for that motivation of getting it done. So
Yeah. So just to let you in behind the scenes here, listeners, Geoff and I are both listening to the same book on ADHD. And
this wasn't supposed to be part of the show, Brandon.
Not part of the show.
We're off
topic. Do a whole
topic.
episode on ADHD because it's becoming really apparent to me that ADHD is a part of my life, and two of my kids have ADHD, and it's usually a genetic thing, and so they didn't get it from Natalie, and so odds are it's probably me.
Did you get to the part of the book where it says that if one of the parents have it, it's like a 1 in 3 shot, so 2 out of 5 is actually pretty accurate?
Yeah, that's right. It's even worse if both of you have it. Like, it's like practically guaranteed that your kids are going to have it if you both do. But anyway, one of the things that they talk about is how we're constantly like looking for those big goals. Like that's a part of it. Like usually they describe it as like a vision or as like something grandiose. But that's what gives us that dopamine kick that we're always looking for. And I was like, that is why I always am like so goal motivated, is because it's just a huge part of the ADHD mindset. But anyways, so you saying that reminded me. I was like, oh yeah, that's very true for me as well. That's very ADHD of us. So way to go.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, and for those of you wondering, we have self-diagnosed ourselves with this. So
absolutely self-diagnosed, but we're pretty sure. Like 99% sure.
Yeah, confirmed by. So we happened on this book. Just we're working with one of my daughters who's got some things we're working through with her with ADD, and so this book was recommended to us. And as we were reading, my wife was reading it first, and she sent it to me. She's like, "You should really listen to this on your drive to Woodstock this week." And I was like, "Okay, just for Harriet's sake, I will listen to this book." So anyway, I started listening to it, and my mind just kept getting blown every time they were like talking about symptoms and reactionary points to certain circumstances and stuff. And I was just like, I don't think I'm reading this for Harriet. I think I'm reading it for me. Anyway, so Heidi was joking with me tonight. She was like, that book's been, really eye-opening for me into your personality. And I was like, really? You think so? Because I feel like it is for me too. So anyway. ADD 2.0 or ADHD 2.0 for those of you interested. So
right, written by the guys who diagnosed or who initially came up with the term ADD, right? The two doctors that came up with the term to begin with way back in whenever that was. But anyway, okay, so that's just a side note. ADHD, it's real.
Anyone who listens to our podcast knows for sure that it's real. They're like, oh yeah, these guys can't stay on topic.
Absolutely. Also, can I just say, like, the rejection sensitivity dysphoria stuff that they talk about? I was like, dang it! I was like, that is like so true.
Negative self-talk.
Oh my goodness, it's just I was like, are you like reading my mail? Like somehow Anyway, okay, back on top. This is also ADHD in right now. So here we go. So there are things that we all have, like even like things like the Strava thumbs up. Like that's such a crazy thing. Like I don't know. There's been lots of debate, I know, online about whether or not posting your stuff on Strava is actually helpful for you as a runner. Like sometimes it's like, you just do it to get that little hit or whatever of someone likes me. But if they took Strava off of the internet and it was never used again, I wonder how many people would just quit running because they can't post their stuff on there and they can't like show off their pictures of where they're at and that sort of thing. And so Strava, for good or bad, however you want to look at it, can be a motivator. Like, I got to get this done so I can post it on Strava.
Right. Did you ever see that chart analysis of like the initiation of the Facebook like button with the rise of depression?
Oh, really?
It was they ran together, where like basically social media which was sort of designed to help you like find friendship and, you know, be out
Connection.
there, you know, ended up causing potentially more depression in certainly young people, you know, who, you know, the like buttons maybe fell off or they didn't get as many likes or whatever, and depression skyrocketed. And anyway, I don't know if there's any truth to it. I saw it on Instagram. I saw it was on a reel, so I don't know if it's true. Right. But they made this likeness of this thing. So yeah, I can see that for sure. I definitely have like posted an auto posts from my watch, but I'm like, man, that was a good run. That was a hard run. Like, you know, and I did some good mileage or some good vert. And then like you get like one thumbs up and you're like, break. No one, maybe it wasn't a good
validation,
run. Right? No one cared.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
No one cared. Where's my comments? Where's people telling me that I was awesome?
Right. Meanwhile, someone posts a picture of their dog sitting at like a bench or whatever, and it gets like 5,000 thumbs up. You're like,
yeah,
this doesn't make any sense. Strava's not fair. It's not partial.
It's true.
And so do you know what though? Oddly enough, for me, some of the things that running is supposed to be really good for are not very motivational for me. Like, you know, peace, you know, that mental, you know, unwinding, like that doesn't motivate me really. I find those just things like, well, that's a nice side benefit, but it's not going to get me out the door. There are some times when I'm like really jonesing for a run and that'll help. But most of the time I'm like, whatever. I can just deal with that by numbing out to TV or fantasy football or whatever it is. Yeah, that's right. So there's all sorts of different ways to kind of combat that. But you're right. There's you got to find those things that motivate you. What are those things that internally and externally will help you feel motivated? What's your biggest motivator, Geoff? Do you have one? I'm trying to think of what my biggest motivation would be.
I mean, honestly, it definitely started with like trying to stay healthy and have a, you know, better lifestyle, and I think that's still it. Like I need to live long enough to help my kids grow up because I have a baby coming. So for me, having a 2-year-old at the age of 43 and another one on the way, like, I can't be having a heart attack at 60. Like I gotta keep that cardiovascular system in check, and if I'm gonna continue to eat like a trash panda and live the other side of my life that I live, I basically run to eat. Like you know, so that I can still be mobile in life. I limp now and I have bad hips, but at least I can move.
Yeah,
my heart's good.
So staying alive is a pretty good motivator, I would say.
Yeah.
Like so as far as that goes, I think that's great. I think for me, it's probably the biggest motivator would be the pressure that I put myself under to try and reach some of those goals. I think that's the biggest motivator is like, all right, for better, for worse, like sometimes it backfires and it's really damaging, but sometimes it's enough to get me out the door. And so that works for me too. But staying alive is also a good one.
I would say my second biggest motivator is this podcast, in the sense that I feel like I have to make it legit through doing long, like, you know what I mean? Like I have to be a legit trail runner, so I have to someday do a 100-miler, or I have to do that, you know, hit that PB at Looney Loops because it somehow legitimizes the show that we're doing. And so maybe some people would say that's silly. I don't mind that pressure. Like that's one of the motivators I actually like because I enjoy doing this show and I want it to continue. So whatever makes it legit, and even if that doesn't make it legit, I think I'm getting benefits from some of that motivation anyway. So, but it has been like, there's been days where I've been like, no, like you do a podcast about running, you have to go running. it's funny. It's funny for a couple weeks when you don't run and you make jokes about it. But if it goes longer than that, like there's gonna be a problem, right?
Right. That's right.
So.
Yeah. You can't have a steady stream of like not running.
Right.
Although maybe this podcast will evolve into something else eventually. It'd just be like, instead of 2 trail runners, it'll be just 2 old guys talking once we
get into an old folks
trails. That's right.
Harassing our nurses, rocking chairs.
Complaining about the government and just enjoying life.
Oh yeah, I have to be retired before I can do that. I can't afford to lose my job for my podcast.
No,
so.
not yet. But have you had one of these runs though where like you really didn't want to go, and then you went and you actually really enjoyed it? Have you had one of those before?
All the time.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. You haven't?
I never have one.
Was that the wrong answer? Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just glad that you have, because I've never had one of those. I've never had one where I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I went out and did this. But I have had ones where I'm like, oh, I really had a great run, but I really wanted to go do it when I was doing it. So I've yet to have one of those ones where I'm like, oh, I hate getting out the door, and I walk back and I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I got that done. That has not happened to me. It's usually like, I freaking hate this. I knew I didn't want to do this. I know there's a reason why, and this is what happens. So that's kind of my experience with that.
You got to find one of those trails that you know that when you finish it or when you get to the location that you're going to, that it's like, that it's cool and then it's a nice view or whatever gets you going. Because I know for me, like if I don't want to go running and I have to do a long run, if I go to Woolastook and I run up to Kelly's Point or Kelly's Lookout, like it's just, I always feel so good by the time I get up there, because it's, you know, it's a long-ish run up, so, and you got a good hill to work through, and then you get to the top and it's just a beautiful view of the creek in the St. John River. So maybe you just need to find a place where you can run where there's a nice view at the end or halfway or whatever.
Maybe.
Yeah. Feel good.
Maybe you're right. Anyway, so we've got the kind of idea of motivation, and then like there's all sorts of little tricks that I do as well to kind of keep putting off running. So it's like filling up my water bottles, getting all my snacks. Like there's all sorts of things that I keep doing, making sure I have the right socks or that the right shorts are clean. And so it's like all these different things that kind of get in the way of of going for a run. Well, I've got to have my pre-run meal, and so I'll sit down and I'll have breakfast. You're infamous for your coffees, so like you'll make sure you have your coffee, right? That's a big deal for you, isn't it?
Oh yeah, coffee or 2 or 3, yeah, for sure. It's
next
a problem.
Next thing you know, it's been an hour, right? And so you have to kind of try and get rid of those things like as much as you can. So maybe it's setting out your clothes ahead of time. Maybe it's just limiting yourself to one coffee, or maybe it's actually stopping for a coffee along the way. That actually might be something that motivates me. Like, hey, let's have a special stop along the route. I know Mark Hemmings does that. Like when he does his big 50Ks, he always finishes with like a nice little coffee or a little treat or something like that. He's always taking a picture of it. And I think that actually might work for me. That if I just said, all right, I'm going to pause my watch, or I'm going to finish my run at this coffee shop. But I'm always nervous about going into a coffee shop drenched in sweat.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how do you avoid that part? I don't know. You just have to kind of ignore that part, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You also have to be willing to spend $12 every time you go running.
Yeah.
Plus the treats that you bought to go running. You basically turned your free activity into a $35 event when you add in treats, electrolytes, and then a coffee stop halfway or at the end.
But you'd have to sit outside. There's no way you could sit inside because the seat would just be drenched. I mean, some people don't sweat, but that's
Mark probably doesn't sweat as much as we do. You know,
I mean, he probably glistens. He probably glistens a little bit.
He glows like a pregnant lady.
Glows.
I can see Mark Hemmings glowing. I don't know if I know him well enough to tease him like that, but Mark, we love you, man.
That's right.
You're in better shape than us, so we assume you don't sweat.
Yeah. Yeah, but I would have to sit outside, and then you're going to sit in the chair, and you get up, and it's going to leave like that sweat imprint, like the outline of your body on the chair. So I always get self-conscious about that. I'd have to get it to go.
You ever sat on a wooden bench and have the same thing happen, and it like soaked in?
Yeah.
So you get up, and it's just like, oh no, that's going to stay like that for an hour.
We have those cedar chairs, like those cedar Adirondack chairs on the front porch, and I always sit down in one of those, and I think it's like starting to wear out the color, like around the silhouette of where I sit. Like
acid sweat.
That's right. It's starting to eat into the texture of the wood. It's like super gray, like the super Brandon-sized gray shape on the Adirondack chair.
It looks like a pear. You're like, oh no,
that's right.
Why did you? That's a nice decorative pear you've painted on your Adirondack chair. Yeah, that's of course it is.
Well, that's unique. That's a unique design on your chair. Oh yeah. Look, it's custom made. Custom made. Man. Anyway, so that might be able to motivate you. But I find even just like if I get my sneakers on, if I can get my sneakers on, that gets me out the door because I'm sitting there and I'll even just like scroll on my phone for a second with my whole gear on. But if I can just get my sneakers on, and then that usually gets me out the door.
It's funny. I was thinking just like last week how when I was training more consistently in the morning, often I would set out my shoes and my socks and my shorts and my shirt, and that I would get up in the morning and I'd put them on right away. Before I had a coffee, I just went to the bathroom, put on my running gear, went out to the kitchen, had a coffee, and then I went for a run or did whatever, bike or whatever it was I was doing that day. And I stopped doing that at some point for some reason. But it's just like a part of the discipline that does work in a lot of ways. If you take away those stupid impediments by, not getting dressed in your comfy gym pants and your hoodie on a cooler August morning and getting dressed in your running clothes, like your body or your brain already knows, well, I guess I'm going for a run after this coffee because we're all dressed to go for a run, right? Whereas if you get in your jammies and you're sitting in your lazy boy drinking a coffee, watching the sun come up, like it's a different feel, right? So sure. I know for me, like I've lost the discipline of motivation, and so I need to do some of those disciplinary things better so that I get out the door.
Yeah. And I mean, that's where the habits start to come in, right? Like if you create a habit that you do consistently all the time, it gets your body, like that's half the battle, right? Is like, that automatically this is what's going to happen. And you can start really, you take the thinking out of it when you start to say, all right, get up, get my clothes on. That's the way it goes. But even too, just checking, I don't know if you do this, but if I look at our Garmin Connect and I see that you've gone for a run, that's motivation for me to go for a run. I'm like, okay, I got to keep up with Geoff. I got to know that Jeff's gone, so I need to go. And so I find that pretty motivational as well. Just like saying, all right, well, friends have gone, so I need to go. And that's just part of it too. So I find that really is helpful for good or bad. Again, motivations may be awful. Right. Like I can't right. fall behind, right? Or whatever, but it is a good motivator. It does get me going because I'm like, oh shoot, Geoff got out, so I should get out. So, but it's also like giving yourself a timeline too. Like I find if I give myself I have to be out the door by this time. Otherwise, like that can backfire too because you're like, oh well, something happened. The kids are upset and you have to get them breakfast or whatever, and you're like 10 minutes past the deadline. That can self-sabotage. But if I said, all right, I need to be back by noon, and so I need to go by this time, I can work backwards to when I need to leave. And so that way, that kind of gets me going a little bit. But
have you gotten all dressed and like ready to go running? Shorts on, shoes on, hat on, the whole bit, water bottles filled, and then just completely undid the thing and stayed home?
Yeah, have you done that? I have actually.
Glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah. Actually, I've done that. It's usually something has like a bomb gets dropped in our schedule. So usually like our kids have a project that's due and they forgot to get something for it. Or we need like groceries really quick for something. And that's and so I go to the grocery store and like my running gear and I'm just like, oh, well, I'm done now. I just go back and take it off.
Is that the most demoralizing feeling?
Oh yeah. You're like, oh, you just shake
in the
your head at
bathroom,
yourself.
taking off your dry running clothes. You're like, why did I put these on this morning?
That's right. Well, you just put them on again later on. But like, it is that, it's like that look in the mirror. You're like, you're pathetic. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just didn't go for your run.
You had all the discipline right, but still didn't work out.
That's right. And sometimes that happens, and I think that's okay. But it can happen more often than I want it to is part of my problem.
Yeah.
And do you know what else? Like, as hard to if there's like a run that I know is going to be like a hilly one or it's going to have like challenging elements to it, that also is like a factor for me to stay home. I'm like, oh, all right, I'm going to have to go to Shady Grove. I know it's going to be hard coming back up, but you know what I mean? So you're just like, oh, maybe I'll just run around here. And then, well, maybe I'll just stay home and then I won't do it. So you can talk yourself out of it that way. So I find like, you're right, finding a good route could be really helpful. But there are, like, Geoff, there's got to be times when you feel unmotivated for legit reasons. Don't you think? Like, there's got to be times where like you're not healthy, or you're unrested, or you've just finished like a big race. You know what I mean? Like those post race blues where you're just like, you don't really have the same kind of motivation. And that's just kind of like your body saying, well, maybe you should take a break and just like relax for a little bit. And maybe that's our problem, Geoff. We've been pushing too hard, and we just need to relax a little bit.
I like how you couldn't say that with a straight face.
I know, I couldn't even go there. But for some of you who are hustlers, maybe that is the issue.
Yes, if you feel like you need to have a break, maybe you actually do. I think that like stress levels of all different sorts could cause that, right? Like cortisol is a real thing, so it doesn't even have to be bad stress in some ways. Sometimes you're doing good things, like for the renovations, for example, like it was stressful, but it was good stress, but it was still stressful. Like it was stuff we needed to get done, and we found good people generally to do the work we needed, and they were all reliable. They did good work, but nothing blew up, nothing went bad. Everything looks great, realistically. So, but it was, man, those 3 weeks of mayhem at the house was just like, and it landed when we had junior lifeguard club and Amelia doing her medallion test and all the 2 sets of swimming lessons for all the kids 2 weeks in a row. Like it was just a busy 3 weeks, and the house was tore apart, right? So it was stressful, and I just didn't feel like going. Now it's done, and I feel a lot more free to do that stuff, despite not really having any reason otherwise. So, yeah, stress is a big one.
And there are like seasons in life where that's absolutely legit. And so you just have to recognize that you're in one of those seasons and adjust and recalibrate a little bit. But there are also there's got to be times when you're just flat out lazy, right? Where you're just like, I don't know.
It's a lot for me.
There's got to be something to it. I mean, there's got to be some science around that, but I think part of it is like, I just don't really like the running that much. Like I always think about Mark when he says, like I'm actually don't really like trail running. Like I don't like the run itself. And I'm like, I think I kind of relate to that a little bit, because just the act of running itself isn't my favorite thing to do. I get bored. But when you run on trails, there's all sorts of other things to keep your attention. Again, going back to the ADHD stuff, I find that so much better because you can actually pay attention to other things.
I think you're right. I think boredom breeds laziness for me. Like if I get bored of doing something because I do it too much, or it encompasses my life, or it's just gotten kind of old and stagnant, like it just gets to the point where you're like, I don't want to do it. So you become lazy just in general. So I think that's a big part of it for sure. And maybe for some people right now, having the woods closed, if you're trying to abide by the rules and you're not someone who's going to break them, just, like you're just trying to be respectful, but at the same time, maybe you're going to get bored running the same circle at your house, or running downtown Ferguson and running the bridges. I know that the Devon Deer do it a couple times a week, and they get together in the mornings. I could go, but I don't because, I don't know why, I just don't. But, after doing that every day, it might get a little long in the tooth, right? So,
yeah. Now, there is a good motivator for you, I think, running with others. If you are one of those types who's good with running with others, that could be a huge motivation. That they're expecting you. What's that? There's that meme, it's like they know I'm coming and they know that I'll be there. But it's like that kind of idea where, there are people who are looking for you, who are expecting to see you. That can be a motivator as well. So your local groups, like all the trail groups that we have and the Devon Deer and all that sort of stuff. There's a great opportunity for motivation there. So preaching to the choir here on this one, like I probably should try and get out to those a little bit more. And so that way we can not be as lazy and be motivated.
Yeah, you should have gotten to the Looney Loops preview last night.
It's tonight. It's while we're recording.
Oh,
it's Wednesday,
I thought it was last night. Oh, yeah. Never mind.
But I already know what the Looney Loops course looks like, so I think I've got.
That wasn't the point, Brandon. It was the discussion around running with other people. Obviously, we know what it looks like. You don't know what it looks like at night, though. So this year,
that's true.
This
That's
year,
true,
you have new things to look forward to.
This year I will.
Running at night.
Yeah. Which we need to talk about how to get ready for that. I think that would be a good episode if we just said, hey, listen, this is what we're going to do to prep for an all-night 24-hour race.
I still don't know how. Maybe we should have Adam back on or someone else who knows what they're talking about.
Do we bring like a tent? Like, are we going to bring a tent, or do we just bring like our, like the little canopy thing that we have, or do we bring gravity chairs? Like,
I can tell you how not to do it based on last year. You don't want to run a long time and then try to curl up in the back of a Subaru Impreza with no mattress and just a blanket. Because when you try to close that back hatch and there's not enough room to stretch out and you get a cramp in your quad and you have to stretch your leg but there's nowhere to stretch it, it's a bad scene in the back of an Impreza, let me tell you.
Oh, I don't know if I could do that. I'm not even sure. I would just drive home, I think. I would just feel like I'm not gonna sleep on my back of my car.
I didn't want to miss the McDonald's breakfast. Come on. I knew it was coming the next morning. There's going to be a free-for-all in there for breakfast.
Anyway, so that's something we should talk about eventually, because I have no idea how to do that. But there are some things that even like on the trails that I find a struggle bus, like when there's like hills or when there's bugs, like black flies that fly in your mouth. Like that's never fun. We've ranted about that already this summer. Okay, but here's the question. I think it's worth our time here. So would you rather run in minus 20 degrees Celsius or in like swampy terrain with mosquitoes? Which one would you prefer? This is a no-brainer for me.
Probably minus 20.
Yeah. Like I think that's an easy one. Minus 20. We'd run in minus 20 anyway, right? Like that's not that cold. Like, I mean, it's cold, but it's not that cold.
It's cold.
Right?
Yeah.
It's pretty cold. But if there's no wind chill, we're just saying minus 20.
Yeah.
You're a little frosty, but you can still do it.
I think the morning we did the hypothermic, it was like minus 15 when we were on the bus.
Definitely.
It got warmer, when you run as long as us, it got warm by the time we finished, it was fairly warm that day with the sun. But in the morning, it was really cold. Yeah.
Yeah, like our chews were frozen. Like, well, mine were. I don't know what you had, but I had like those honey stinger chews, and I was just like, oh my goodness.
Frozen
so
solid.
Hard.
Yeah.
Just like suck on them in the corner of your mouth while you're waiting for them to defrost. But yeah, I think I would definitely pick minus 20. Just having mosquitoes around me is just like a huge pet peeve. So I would definitely choose that. But anyway, so I think for us, at least for me, here's what I need. I think by the end of our episode next week, I'll need to have kind of gotten out of this and gotten back onto my running routine. So you'll have to ask me next week, how have I done? And then we'll go from there. Next week, I got a little week's vacation. So I'm going to take a week of vacation. So I got all sorts of time. Nice. And I'll be able to get some of those things done. And then maybe you'll see it on my Strava and throw it up there. And so everyone can give that a thumbs up and say, hey, welcome back, Brandon. But
yeah, you're going to get more thumbs up than you ever have now.
That's right.
We have a couple
Jeff,
hundred listeners.
Put yours up there, and then we'll make sure that we get your Strava. So
we'll have a competition. Yeah,
who can get the most likes?
That
would not be a good competition for me. That would be a dumb idea. Because of my rejection sensitivity dysphoria. Right. I would definitely feel like that would be rejected.
We need to remember, Brandon, that it's not about motivation; it's about discipline coming from two very undisciplined people.
Jeff, why can't we be more disciplined? Like, have you asked yourself that question? I ask myself that all the time. What do I need to do to be disciplined?
Right. I don't know.
Answer.
I've tried certain strategies, like in university and other times in life, and I just hate him. I hate it. I don't know what it is. Maybe I do it wrong. Maybe I need to read some books on discipline.
Well, okay. So, FYI, Jeff, there are not many books on discipline. Like, there's like maybe one or two. Like Jocko Willink has one called his is on ownership, so that's kind of different than discipline, extreme ownership. But
I've thought about reading that book.
There's not a lot on like how to be more disciplined in your life. Like maybe someone out there has found some that I haven't, but I've Googled it because I'm like, I need to get my act together here and get a little bit more discipline in my life. We're 40-year-old men, Geoff. Like we should have our lives together a little bit better at this point.
I honestly hope that we're still doing this podcast when we have our official midlife crisis. I mean, we're not far off of it.
I think I'm in it. Like, I think this is it.
But when it finally hits and it really goes down that midlife crisis, I think that could be a fun podcast.
Jeez, I just can't afford all the fancy cars and stuff, so I'm just like stuck like in this self-loathing cycle of like, what am I doing with my life? Right. I don't have any outlet for it. I don't have any way to just kind of let it out with a fancy car or a new wife or something like that. Like I'm just not going to do that. So it's that kind of deal.
You better hope your wife doesn't listen to this episode.
Well, I wouldn't. Like I'm just saying, like I wouldn't do that. So there's nothing wrong with it. That's me being a good.
That was not the example you were supposed to throw out in that episode, that minute.
Okay.
I was talking like new golf clubs or like a new bike or something. I wasn't talking about a new wife, Brandon.
Well, that is a midlife crisis thing though, right? Like, yeah, I'm just saying I'm not doing that. That's
right. It's getting a Mazda Miata and a new wife. Yeah.
Right, exactly. That's exactly what happens. I'm saying I am not doing that. I'm happy with my family. I love Natalie dearly. So just let the record show that is the case.
Right.
But anyway, guys, I think that's it. We're gonna try.
I don't know if this has motivated anyone, but
on that great note, like I think that's it. I hope we're like, if nothing else, Geoff, it was good for me. It was good therapy for me to get that out there and be able to talk about it because it is something that's weighing on me. So we can.
So what you're gonna do is
someone else is motivated.
We're both going to leave this episode and we're going to go set out our run clothes tonight for tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Okay.
We can do that. Yep. What time are you going to run? What time do you go?
Well, so I'm actually off tomorrow because we're going to Pugwash.
Oh yeah, that's right. Pugwash.
So but I am planning on going in the morning because it's been nice and cool and I haven't done that yet. I'm aiming for I got to get the car oil changed at 9 because I left everything the last day. So the vans needed an oil change for a while, and so I need to get that done. So I got an appointment for that, so I got to go for a run and be back and get out to the oil change for 9. So probably I would say around 7-ish. I'm going to be I'm hoping to do a 10K, the old 10K loop that I used to do. And I'm not setting any expectations about old times that I used to run it in, 56 minutes or whatever. I'm just going to run it, and it's going to be fine. It's going to be a good run. So that's my goal.
All right. Well, we'll hit the road tomorrow, and we'll see how it goes. But anyways, also just a reminder too, if you're listening and you're interested in getting some trail running gear, St. John Trail Running has its pop-up shop up. It's up there now forever, right? Like it's a permanent fixture,
24/7. It's got some nice stuff on there. I like that quarter zip shirt. I'm a fan of it. Man. I was
hoping my parents would, or my family would get me some for my birthday, but they have yet to do that. That's actually something I would like. Instead, I'll probably get books I don't read or something dumb that I don't need. So anyway, whatever.
Well, Natalie might be getting you nothing. So
yeah, that's right. Exactly. An annulment. That's what she'll be getting, is an annulment. Happy birthday, Brandon. You've been served. Anyway. Oh, geez. I shouldn't even joke about that. Anyway, okay.
Right. So we got the pop-up shop. Go get some stuff.
Go get some swag.
It's going to be awesome. Looney Loops is coming up. Get ready for that.
That's right.
And the registration. Is it still open, the registration? Mark opened that up. And
I think there's still a couple spots left.
Go get your spot at Looney Loops. It's going to be a good time. Yeah.
Yeah, if you haven't done Capes, like if Capes got canceled for you or Campobello Coastal, like this is a great way to get in there and get one of those
Absolutely.
like 6 hour, 12 hour, 24 hours. You can run in the dark with Geoff and I, or you can sleep in the back of our car and enjoy that misery.
Or you
with
can
us
just
as well.
Come and cheer us on. And hopefully our folks at Resilience Through Fitness are coming out. I don't know if Devin's coming or not, but yeah.
I can't remember.
Either way.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to it. It's going to be pretty slow because we haven't run for a while, but we'll just grind it out. If anything, we're stubborn. That is a certain definite aspect of who we are. because of our ADHD. And so that will be so whether you have ADHD or whether you're normal neuro or whatever it's called, not neurodivergent like we are, we hope that you're enjoying this summer and chasing the trails as best you can. And everyone, we'll talk to you soon.
1, 2,